Well, it is time for our 2022 container potato harvest. So we've grown potatoes in containers for 4 years now. We kind of started it initially in a kind of a big way because we didn't really have great success in ground at our old place. Since moving, we have continued to grow them in containers, but we have found over time basically our soil is better here, for lack of a better way to put it. We've got a little better drainage, etc. And they do a lot better in ground. But what we have come to the conclusion of is that growing them in the containers still works for an earlier harvest. So we are still probably about 2 months off of our sort of main crop potato harvest. But having some in the containers, this actually allows us to extend our harvest, extend our ability to eat sort of fresh potatoes. So we're going to see what we get out of what we planted this year. Well, this looks really unimpressive at the moment. They're kind of 3 totes.
It could be an unimpressive harvest.
It could be an unimpressive harvest, but essentially these are, they've died back. We've actually got a little bit of resprouting, but that's okay. I think it was in May that we planted these. They started in the greenhouse. We brought them out. They really actually looked amazing for quite a long time.
Look at that guy. We got some healthy potato soil.
But potato bucket number 1. So we think, quote unquote,
it should be
a red skin variety.
All red.
First little potato. I feel bad kind of pulling this up, but it is time to harvest. So these are all reds. And even though we have said we don't like keeping little potatoes like this, in this instance these are kind of useful.
Yep, nice new clean potatoes.
For new potatoes. So
they just don't store well long term over the winter, that's all.
Throw that down. That can become mulch. And I can already see, I don't know if you can see too well in here, I can already see potatoes right on the surface.
Oh, how's our potato harvest gonna do? Look at that, a couple nice ones. And you haven't even gotten anywhere yet.
No, these are just up by the surface.
Saying that, they may not be any more deep down. Who knows?
Well, we will definitely see.
I always find potato harvest super exciting.
But you never know exactly what you're going to get. But all in all,
it's looking good
so far. All reds are a little bit less productive than some varieties we have, but we definitely like them. They made the cut to stay on the farm for the homestead. And so far in this barrel, or bucket,
they're doing quite well.
Doing quite well.
I don't remember how many potatoes we planted in there. Probably 6, I think, is what we usually...
Maybe 8. I'm going to dump this over, and we'll see what happens here.
Either that'll be it, or I already see one more.
Oh, there'll be more, I'm sure. Use gravity to my advantage.
Oh, there's lots in here. Boy, they did really well.
They were happy in these buckets. So after a few, I wouldn't say failures, but disappointments this year, this is a welcome
It's nice to do something positive. Ooh, look at that guy.
Something that looks like it's gone pretty well. I really like these all red varieties. This is our 3rd year growing them.
Yep.
I would say the nice part of doing this is, minus little rocks, you just get to reuse the soil, which is awesome. Another big worm.
God, look at how fat that one is. Look at him.
Apparently, even though we've had a dry end to the year,
they had a good start.
Worms approved of our potato buckets. Well, that is bucket number 1.
Not bad.
We're now on to our, what we think is our all blues. If they're not all blues, they're blue skinned, but we think these are the all blues. And I can already see some poking out. Go ahead and pull out the old stalks.
None had sprouted in this one though.
No, this one they've gone completely dormant. And I'm just going to pull back the mulch, throw that in the bed. can be breakdown for later. And I can see several on the surface. We're getting quite a few right off the top here.
Now in the ground, the blue ones are always more prolific than the reds, so it'll be interesting to see what the results are in the buckets. So far it's looking like the blues might win.
I'm thinking that. But like you say, we know that the all blues are a more prolific variety. There we go. There's a better example.
Oh no, there is some in there.
A little deeper.
So here, hopefully you can see it, is one downfall to growing in buckets. We have an ant colony in here.
You
So you've got to be
in the ground though too.
That's true. Very careful harvesting here.
So bucket number 2 does not seem to be quite as prolific as bucket number 1. But
I'm not sure.
being different,
There's a lot of blue potatoes in there.
I think we're coming to the end of this one.
Oh, there's a couple more. Is that a seed potato?
Oh, that's potatoes. So yeah, actually in the end,
Blue's winning.
very comparable anyways.
You can see in our bucket there. Oh, another big one. And the blue definitely produced a lot more larger ones.
The interesting part with this so far is both these varieties, the all blue and the all red, are basically performing pretty similar to what they do in the ground. As Stephanie said, we're getting more of the large all blues than the all reds, and they're a little more prolific. But the all reds are still very attractive and tasty varieties, so
We keep growing
them. Last but not least, our third and final bucket. So same, gonna go ahead, get the old plants out. This one did resprout a bit.
We kind of focused a little bit more on the gourmet potatoes for our bucket summer harvest.
Well, these ones we've tried before in this manner and they kind of all did fairly well in the past. So because we changed our growing technique a bit to just focus on sort of the new potatoes, we figured we'd, like you say, go with these more gourmet type. So judging from this, I'm not seeing as many on the surface. I may just default to
Dumping?
starting to dump and see what
Sounds
comes
good.
out here. Speed this one up a bit.
So the all blues may be our least productive.
Oh, these are the blue skinned.
Or yeah, sorry, the blue skinned may be our least productive. Oh no, I see quite a few in there. It's the advantage of being on this side with the camera. I can see some.
You get a sneak peek.
Yep. So this could be our error in the fact that we should have harvested them a little bit earlier.
And they'll still be good for new potatoes, so
Yeah.
they just wouldn't likely at this point in the year survive long-term storage through the winter. But that
A
wasn't
lot
the
in there
purpose.
though. Whoa, you hit a jackpot there. Just about had it.
Almost ready to
I
come
do
out.
find it very exciting doing potatoes.
Yeah,
And I always wanted to have potatoes to have during barbecue season instead of just focusing on the potatoes for overwintering. So that was the idea of these buckets, because we got to plant them a month earlier than what we did our in-ground ones. Probably even more than a month actually.
I think it was a bit more than a month, yeah. 'Cause it was still kind of cool when we did these.
Well yeah, that's why they had to go in the greenhouse. We were not sure if it was too cold for them. Our bucket's going to end up close to full though.
Pretty darn close, yes. Well, 3 containers dumped and harvested, and there's our potato harvest. So all in all, pretty happy with that. We'll take it in here in a moment and weigh it. But the other nice part is, by dumping the soil from those onto these raised beds, with a little bit more amendment and preparation, we're just about ready to plant a fall harvest, or a fall crop I should say, of likely Detroit red beets. I think that's what we're going to put in here.
And they're already started in the greenhouse.
They're already started, so maybe another week or two and they'll come out. Well, we are back in the house with our scale, and we're going to see from 3 potato buckets, or buckets of potatoes, exactly how much did we end up with. Now we've already sort of, what do you call that, centered this, taken an empty container to see.
Oh, it's too heavy.
Oh, so what does that scale go up to?
Only goes to 11 pounds.
So we have over 11 pounds, so that's pretty awesome. We're going to have to go to plan 2 or plan B and see what we actually have here.
So we're trying splitting it in half. So bucket 1, 2,868.
And see what
2,008.
bucket 2 is. They're pretty heavy.
868.
3,268. So all said and done, we were 13.5 pounds of potatoes from the 3 buckets. So I don't think that's too bad. And basically this round will be purely for eating, and we'll save our seed potatoes from, or our potatoes to plant next year, from our in-ground harvest that'll be coming later this year. So stay tuned for that, but definitely after 4 years of raising potatoes or growing potatoes in containers, I highly recommend it, but I will say with the caveat that we have found it's really great for getting some early season potatoes, but if you're trying to do like a main crop planting of potatoes, then it may not be your best option, but if it's all that you can allocate space to, then definitely give it a try, because the nice thing about potatoes is you won't be disappointed because they always multiply.